Shalom, all praise and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Kakadash, double honors to other apostles, great millstone, and citation you, I can teach all truth and sincerity. Um, this is gonna be called, it's gonna, T.I. is right. It's like a response to that. So, I have this article because T.I., not too long ago, I believe it was like, today's the 22nd, so like 16 days ago, T.I. admitted or said on a podcast within he said on a podcast that he goes to the gynecologist to with his 18-year-old daughter to check if she's still a virgin. And this information or this knowledge has blown up on social media. You know, fathers everywhere saying something about it. I'm like one of those Salakia. Um Salakia. I'm like one of those men. I agree with T.I. I agree with T.I. because T.I. is her father. She lives amongst his roof, and a father should, if he has daughters, he should have knowledge of if his daughter's still a virgin, because that's his name on his daughter, and he would like to have his name not stained with his daughter being a harlot, you know, being a woman that sleeps around with multiple men. You know, a brother, reason why I'm making this response, a brother gave a good example. Lawrence Fishburne's daughter is a porn star, but T.I.'s daughter is a virgin. She's never had no man or woman deal with, so she's a clean girl. So, and she likes men. So I'm just like, Lawrence Fishburne's daughter is, you know, a porn star, probably been ran through by multiple dudes in the porn industry, by different producers, you know, like. And the brother that did the video said, "You rather have Lawrence Fishburne's daughter, or you rather have T.I.'s daughter? I'd rather have T.I.'s daughter because she's a cleaner situation than Lawrence Fishburne's daughter, where she's been ran through cream pie by half of the porn industry. In the times before the porn industry, she's defiled with other men's DNA, rather than T.I.'s daughter. She has no man's DNA in her, you know, and she's not been defiled, you know, and the guy that gets with her, he will be her actual husband, rather than if you deal with a porn star and you have, you know, you get with her, you're gonna be her her 500th man, you know, rather than if you get T.I.'s daughter and you're her first, you're her only man she ever dealt with, you know. That's a good example. But anyway, I'm gonna read a little bit in this article. It says T.I. says he still accompanies his 18-year-old daughter for an annual gynecologist checkup just to make sure her virginity is intact. The rapper recently made the revelation on the podcast, Ladies Like Us, saying he's been taking Deja Harris to the gyno for years now and sits in for the results with the intent of confirming her hymen has not been broken. Tip got into the convo with the hosts Nazanin and Nadia and asked if he's had the sex talk with his daughter. He told them he schedules doctor's visits each year, usually right after Deja's birthday. T.I. says he simply exercising his right as a parent to steer his daughter away from what he considers bad decisions. As he put in Nadia and Nazinin, who's singer Miguel's wife, I think that most kids in hindsight, looking back, they always thank their parents for not allowing them to damage themselves as much as they could have. And that's true, because a lot of kids don't have parents that take care of and watch over them. And I'm glad that T.I. is doing that for his daughter. That's a righteous mind state to watch over your daughter and to make sure she's still a virgin. Because most men would allow their daughter to do whatever she want, and that's how she ends up on a stripper pole, being a porn star, and just being all messed up. And her mind is completely, shattered because you didn't take care of her. You didn't spend time with her. You didn't even consider to watch over her, you know, as a father should. So I'm gonna go to Ecclesiasticus, which is Sirach 42 and verse 9. Uh, this is Sirach, Ecclesiasticus 42 verse 9. It says, "The father waketh for the daughter, when no man knoweth, and the care for her taketh away sleep. When she is young, lest she pass away the flower of her age, and being married, lest she be hated." So a father's supposed to, you know, wake his daughter, watch over his daughter, you know. It says, in verse 10, in her virginity, lest she be defiled and gotten with child in her father's house, having a husband, lest she should misbehave herself, and when she is married, lest she should be barren. It says we're supposed to, watch over our kids, watch over our daughters, especially when they're young, because you never know, somebody could, molest your daughter and you wouldn't know it unless she said something. You wouldn't know the signs, or be able to tell if you're not watching over it. It says, verse 10, it says, in her virgin Slaki, in verse 11 it says, "Keep a sure watch over a shameless daughter, lest she make thee a laughing stock." And that's what T.I. is doing. He's watching over his daughter, so she doesn't make him a laughing stock. I'll read that again. It's Ecclesiasticus 42 and verse 11. It says, "Keep a sure watch over a shameless daughter, lest she make thee a laughing stock to thy enemies, and a byword in the city, and a reproach among the people. Make thee ashamed before the multitude." And that's what T.I. is doing. He's watching over his daughter so she doesn't make him a laughing stock, because his name is all over his daughter. She wears the last name Harris, so that's his family name. So he's trying to make sure his family name is not made a laughing stock, because he's a powerful man within his career field. He's in the music industry. He's been in the music industry for years, and he doesn't want his daughter to make him look bad. Because if she's whoring around, that will make him look bad. As a man. I'm gonna go. And that's a kingly mentality. That and our people, they don't our people been destroyed for lack of knowledge. They don't think that, they think that's so a vow of his daughter's personal, that's a vow of her personals. I can't get the word right now. It's a vow of her. It's a vile thing that he's doing to her, like not letting his daughter be a grown woman. But first of all, she lives in his house. He's paying for the doctor's visit. He could slide that doctor an extra $100 bill, and the doctor will allow him to do that. He has a right to know what's going on with his daughter, especially if he has to pay for something, because she's not paying for nothing. He's taking care of her, So he has a right to know. And plus, she's his property until she moves out. Until she gets a husband, she belongs to him, and he has a right to know what's going on with his daughter, But anyway, this is Hosea 4 and 6. It says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee. that thou should be no priest to me, seeing that thou hast forgotten the law of thy power. I will also forget thy children. And T.I. doing that for his daughter, that's a kingly mind state. And our people, the so-called Negroes, Latino Americans, they don't believe that. They don't understand that that's something we did back in the ancient world. We had our daughters were virgins, and we knew that, and we kept a watchful eye over them. And most of our daughters would live in our homes until they got a man. Sometimes even maybe to 18, and then they get. But anyway, they that's some that knowledge that we the knowledge of watching over your daughter and make sure she's a virgin, that our people reject that. They allow their daughters to do whatever they want. And since they reject the knowledge of the ancient ways of the scriptures, or reject Yahweh Shem Yahushai, the Most High will forget your children, will forget you. And plus, that's a cure. That's a example of evil for darkness for light, and evil for good. They rather have your daughter. They rather have our daughters be whores than being virgins, and that's evil for good. Because if your daughter had not slept with no man, and she was a man of understanding's first husband, or Salaki first, her first was a man of understanding, not every Tom, Dick, and Harry in the city, then and he was her, and she and Salaki, I'm tongue tied. He to her was her first husband. Then that's a good thing. But if she's sleeping around, then that's a bad thing. That's an evil thing, because it brings shame upon her father's house. So this is Isaiah 5:20. It says, "Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, and put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter." And like the example I gave, Lawrence Fishburne's daughter, that's evil. What she's doing as a profession, being a porn star, being a whore for pay. That's evil, because that's bringing shame upon her father's house, because she's keeping the same last name as Fishburne as her porn name. And that's shame, because all his friends talk shit about him. Because his daughter's a porn star, and that's not a good thing. If your daughter's a virgin and then she gets married to a man that you know and you cool with, and he's gonna treat your daughter right, that's a good thing. That doesn't bring shame. But being a porn star and a whore for hire, that brings shame upon your father's house. And my last scripture I'm gonna get is Ecclesiastes 26 and 10. Slakia, 26 and 10. This is Ecclesiasticus 26 and 10. Sirach 26 and 10. It says, "If thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straitly, lest she abuse herself through overmuch liberty." And that's an example. Lawrence Fishburne's daughter is an example of that. She's not shamed. If she's shameless woman, and she abused herself to overmuch liberty. She was given so much liberty, being a celebrity's daughter. She ended up becoming a porn star. So if you have a shameless daughter, you're supposed to keep her in straitly. You're supposed to keep a watchful eye over her. It says, watch over an impudent eye, and marvel not if she trespass against thee. So we're not supposed to marvel at these women, especially our daughters, trespass against us and go off and do what they want. And but we're supposed to keep a watchful eye over our daughters. And T.I. is right. He's supposed to watch over your daughter. He's supposed to make sure she's not being a harlot. So I'm gonna say all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Kakadash, double honors to the elder apostles, great millstone. Citation, I can teach all true sincerity and shalom.